Today guys, I'd like to talk to you about using smoke pellets and an off-camera flash to take some dramatic images which look like this. So the basic principle of this is very simple. I'm going to run through the whole thing with you. First off, I'm just going to show you some behind the scenes on how I got this photo so you can see us in action. Then afterwards we're going to talk through a bit of a diagram, a lighting diagram with exactly how I positioned everything. And then I'm going to show you how the images came out at the end and how I edited it. Good evening. So we're going to try and do a Star Wars-esque shot in the woods. Recreate something from the first, no, it's the sixth, was it? The fourth movie?
Seventh.
Oh my God. The seventh movie. So we're going to use some smoke bombs. Come over here. We got these little smoke pellets which are used actually for checking on chimneys and ventilation in houses. They're just tiny little bombs. They go off for about a minute, they let off a little bit of smoke. We're using a flash, hot shoe flash, just on a pole in the distance, and then
one Jedi
model here, Jedi model. And we're going to try and show you how we create an interesting shot with it, hopefully.
and Kim doing the video behind
Kim
the scenes.
on behind the scenes video.
Because she's
Well
too
done,
scared
Kim.
of doing anything else.
Oh God, it's freaky around here though.
It works really well down here. Look. So we got Tom over there who's setting up the flash.
We haven't really got a proper light stand, so I'm trying to just balance it on the tripod. There we go.
We got everything
Okay.
we need in the car, but
This is just a cheap Godox flash, but they're really good. They're like 50 quid. But it's going to do the job, hopefully.
okay. So you can see setup is here.
So you just need to light the powdery bit here. Just, it gets quite hot on around there, so just don't touch that bit. But you can hold the back of it and it'll be fine, and it'll slowly burn down over a minute. So the plastic can get hot and melted, but just hold back. But you probably can just sit it upright like that. Just keep an eye on it.
Okay.
But
So we're having a little bit of problems with the smoke blowing in the wrong direction and not spreading evenly. So we're trying to set up the other way around.
So I've made a bit of a diagram for you guys, which I'm going to zoom into now to show you the lighting setup. Okay, so in the middle there you can see our model, our Jedi. On the left-hand side you've got me with my camera, and then behind the model we've got the flash. That's just a standard hot shoe flash. I'll put a link below to the one I use. I would say set it to a highish power, maybe a half or quarter power. Make sure the flash is directly behind the model so that you can't see it with the camera. You don't want it to flare as it hits the camera. So I would say set up, I think for this was about a 1 second exposure. The ISO was on maybe a couple of thousand, and then I had it on about f2.8. I had a wide angle lens on. I think I was at about 24 millimeters. So once you've got the exposure right in camera, then you can let the smoke off. So here we go. So here's one of the first shots. I was just setting up the lighting and making sure the exposure was right. So as I said to you before, you can see the exposure settings up the top there. It's half a second, ISO 1000. I was shooting at 20 millimeters at f2.8. You just need to experiment with this, make sure it's at the right exposure before you let the smoke off, because you don't want to waste that time and you want to take as many as you can. So once that was set up, I got Kim to let the smoke off and we started to play around with it. We found it was clumping together in one lump, so we started to run around from left to right to try and spread it, but we quickly realised that the wind was in the wrong direction and it was just blowing away from us. So I'll skip through some of these. What we basically did was completely flipped to 180, so I went the other side of the model, and then we let the smoke off again. And I let off this time. I was sprinting left and right, as you can probably see in the background. You really want the smoke, well, I really wanted the smoke to be spread as wide as it could be, and it was just not quite enough, so I made sure it drifted towards the model. Generally you don't want the smoke to go in front of the model because it creates these kind of odd silhouettes and shapes in front, which I mean might be the look you're going for. It's quite eerie and it's quite cool in these specific shots, but I didn't particularly want to. I also found I was having issues with the lightsaber getting lost. As can you see there, you just can't really see it because it's getting lost against the background. Now I could Photoshop that in, but I wanted to get it right in camera. So after this I basically moved Des into a different position. So once the smoke started to spread well, yeah, we tried the lightsaber in front of his face, and then I got him to put it in front of his body, and that's when it worked really well. The smoke was just right, and that was when we hit the nail on the head and got the shot just right. So I'm really pleased with how that came out. We kept trying, did a few more options, and some of these, if they're edited, could come out pretty cool. But I was pleased with that one, pleased with that shot. Now this one has actually had very minimal editing done to it. I've boosted the contrast and sharpened it a bit, but actually with these kind of shots you can get it right in camera. You just need to take a lot of photos. So that's the final result. So what else you can do to get some cool effects with this kind of image is you can try putting some different coloured gels over the flash, so you have the smoke lights up different colours. I mean, I've tried this with bands, I've tried this at weddings, I've tried it in all different scenarios, and there's so many different ways you can shoot this, and it's a really cool trick. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you can experiment with this and get some cool shots. I'd love to see what you get up to. Please do tag me on Instagram. The link's below. Handle is Tom Archer Photo. Thank you so much to Kim, who shot all of the behind the scenes video on this. You can see a link to her Instagram account below. Question and comment below if you've got any questions. I'm happy to help you out, and have fun.